Hi, it's me again, Daphne, talking about preparing for a phone interview or a Skype interview. So the first opportunity you had to impress the employer was by submitting your application, your cover letter and resume. So a phone interview or a Skype interview, it's the second opportunity you have to make a good impression. And many employers use this opportunity to help them screen candidates. So based on that, they make a decision on who they invite in for an in-person interview. So if you're applying from outside of Canada or from the other part of the country, many times you are facing some time differences, and the interview sometimes catches you not in the best time possible for you. So it's really important to prepare well in order to do a good job. So how do you prepare for a phone interview or a Skype interview? So the first thing you do is you research the company. So I'm sure you've done some work on it when you applied for the position and you decided that this company is a good fit for you. So it's a good idea to refresh your memory about the company, what they do, what their challenges are, and what this position is all about. The interviewer might ask you to share a little bit about what you know about the company, so this is a good way to start preparing for it. It's important to have your resume and the job description or the job posting in front of you when you are sitting for the phone or for the Skype interview. Many times the recruiter refers to it when they ask the questions, and you want to make sure you have it in front of you in case they ask questions about specific dates on your resume, or if they want to clarify some duties that you mentioned on your resume and they might ask for more details. It is important that you prepare yourself and the way you present yourself, even though the people on the other side cannot see you, but they can hear you, and they say that the tone of your voice and your confidence is showing, and the way you are dressed is making an impact. So please dress up for the interview. It's a short opportunity for you to impress, so the more upbeat you are and full of energy, the better you will do. So the people who are listening on the other side or are seeing you, they get an impression that you have a positive attitude and you're energetic. And I'm sure as a hardworking person, this is who you are, but it's important to condense it so people on the other side of the phone feel it throughout the interview. I know some people start in very good, positive vibe, but then during the interview, their energy level goes down. So try to keep it up, the same level as you started the interview. If you're doing a Skype interview, it is important that you look at the camera on your computer or your iPad and not on the screen where you can see yourself. You are limited with the eye contact you can make with people sitting on the other side of the phone, but this is at least the best you can do by actually looking at the camera. So it's more personable, and it helps build the rapport and trust through the medium of a camera. Now I'll talk a little bit about the type of questions that you might be asked over the phone or via Skype. And what employers usually start with is asking you why are you interested in the position to begin with. And this is an opportunity for you to describe why you found the position attractive, what's in it for you, but it's more important to share why do you think they will benefit from hiring you. So a little bit about what attracted you, but especially on what makes you a good fit for the job and why you will add value to the job and to the company. So based on the research you've done prior to the interview, you should draft a short answer in preparation for the interview, so you have a short paragraph of the story of why you're interested and why they should be interested in you. You will be most likely be asked to walk the interviewers through your resume to share a little bit about you and your career. you should really try to limit your answer and make it as short as possible. So it's good to have your resume in front of you, of course, and then maybe share a little bit about your education and your career choices. So I would suggest that you start with 2 previous positions. So just go back in time to the 2 last positions you held before your current one, and then talk about your current position and try to make a connection on why this position is very relevant to the position you apply for, and what are the things you can take away from this position in order to be successful in the position you apply for. So it should really be fairly short, but just the highlights of your job and maybe some of the 1 or 2 biggest successes. Many employers ask behavioral-based questions. So these type of questions usually start with, could you tell us about a time when you, or could you share an experience you had with, and what they're actually trying to get from you is for you to describe a similar situation that you've experienced in the past, and based on that, they're trying to predict future behaviors. So if they're asked you to share, for example, if they ask, could you share an experience you had managing a group of people and how you dealt with people who didn't meet deadlines? So this is an opportunity for you to share similar experiences and for them to get an idea of how you dealt with similar situations and whether this example that you gave them can actually predict future behaviors on how you will behave, on how will you act at similar situations with this company. So in preparation for those type of questions, I suggest that you prepare answers or short examples of situations to do with time management, project management, managing people, dealing with difficult situations. So it really depends on the job you apply for and what type of situations you might be facing. But it's important for you to prepare those scenarios where you can share a specific experience. And you always want to use first tense, so it's really based on your specific experience. And don't talk in plural, talk singular. So this is what I did, this is what we did. So they know that you take ownership on your actions, and they can trust that you will do the same within the company. So when you prepare your scenarios for the interview, it's important that you follow the STAR guidelines. So STAR stands for situation, T stands for tasks, A are activities, and R are results. So you draft a paragraph for yourself for each type of situation. Let's say we talk about time management or meeting deadlines. So choose a situation from your past experience that is a good reflection of when you excelled, and then you should summarize it in a short way just to talk about the situation, what happened, what were the expectations, what time of deadline you needed to meet, what the manager expected of you. And then when you talk about the tasks, so just in a short description saying you needed to finish this report, that report, da. And then we talk about the action. These are the specific actions you took in order to make sure you meet the deadline. So, or if you felt that you weren't going to meet the deadline. So it's important for you to share the successes, but even if it wasn't successful, share what was the situation, why things didn't work out the way you expected them to work. So the real actions that you took, and if you felt that you weren't going to meet the deadline, who did you notify? What did you do in order to make sure you get an extension on the deadline, or whatever you did in order to be successful. And then the R stands for results, so you tell them what was the results, did you meet the deadline, you didn't meet the deadline, and what was the outcome. So for each scenario, you should make sure you have all 4 in place, and you have a really short description of the situation, the tasks, the actions, and the results. So then the recruiter who hears you talk about it have a full scope of the situation, and they know what you've done and what were the results. And many times it is okay to say, you know, this was a very important project I was working on, but there were some issues, and it's okay to admit that there were issues. I mean, we are not all perfect, or not every project ends successfully, but this can still be a good example on how you dealt with the situation, how you communicated with people, with your managers, and how you went about resolving the situation. So make sure in your preparation for the interview, you choose those different scenarios for each situation, and then you break it down to all four attributes. At the end of the interview, you're usually being asked whether you have any questions. So it is important for you to prepare some questions. It shouldn't be too complex, and you'll have lots of opportunity to ask more questions if and when they call you in for an in-person interview. But in order for you to show your true interest and that you really did a good job preparing for the interview, it is appropriate for you to have one or two questions to ask at the end. So those type of questions could be, maybe a clarification on the job description if there was something there that you're not clear about. So it's an opportunity for you to ask just to make sure you are clear about what the task or the duties are all about. Another question could be about the company. You can ask questions like, what do you see the biggest challenge for the new person stepping into this role within the first 3 to 6 months? You can ask about some challenges that the company is facing, about their competitors, and it's really all based on your preparation and learning about the company. So the more knowledgeable you sound, and the more knowledge-based questions you use, it just shows the employer that you did a good job preparing and learning about the company, and that you are truly interested in, and that you did a thorough job in trying to understand what the job is all about. I want to thank you for joining me on this video. I hope it was helpful, and I will continue to share more videos about workplace related HR issues that are relevant for working in Canada. So that's all for now. Bye for now.